Hi, my name is Beth Greenwood. I'm currently a catcher at the University of Rochester on the men's baseball team and an engineering intern here at All Star Sporting Goods. So currently my project here at All Star is called the Bat Swinger. And basically it is a machine that we're working on designing in a piece of lab test equipment that is kind of taking the design associated with the drop test that is testing catchers' helmets to see impact from a bat's backswing. And we're kind of taking that design with the drop test and kind of making it more realistic, more real life, and trying to mimic what is actually happening in a game. So that's what I'm currently working on, is trying to make this design actually swing and hit a catcher's mask in the side or back of the head like it would happen actually in a game from the back of a bat. And so the big thing that we're looking at with the Bat Swinger is we're testing the mask to see certain areas that you might get hit on a backswing and try to see how they test with those, looking at those parameters, and then trying to, based on that information, see what types of foams and materials that we should be using. Should we be using denser foams? Should we be using less dense things that kind of absorb more or give more, and trying to figure out what is the best materials that we can be using to keep catchers safe. So when I came here, I was talking to Stan and Austin, and a couple other people that work here at All Star, just about different ways that we can anchor this thing and make it more of a permanent piece of lab equipment, because at the end of the day, that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to make this something that we're using consistently and something that we can research just backswings all the time. And so we didn't want something that was just going to be something we can move anywhere. We wanted this to be a very established piece of equipment. And so we spent a lot of time just figuring out how we wanted to do that and how we wanted to make it more permanent. And so one of the things that we talked about for a bit and brainstormed about was just how we were going to anchor it and put it in. And we had a couple different ideas, but we ended up drilling holes into the concrete and then securing lag bolts into the floor, and made sure that the whole system was level so that we were getting consistent swings. And we did the same thing with the stage that the head form rests on when testing, so that everything was secure, level, and a permanent piece of equipment. On my first day when I was here, a couple weeks before, it was kind of just I was coming in to kind of make this look like a better piece of equipment to be used, and a real piece of lab equipment. But on my first day, I came in and found out that the swinger wasn't working. It wasn't swinging the way it was supposed to, and it wasn't even actually getting a full swing. And so basically on day one, they were like, all right, we gotta figure out what broke and why. And so a big part of what I've been doing here is just kind of going through and learning about all the parts that make it run, and figuring out what's wrong and how we can fix it, and then going from there. And so it's been kind of that trial and error, just seeing what's wrong, how to fix it, and then kind of moving on and going forward on how to make it better and make it more consistent. And so me personally, being a catcher my whole life, this is something that kind of really hits home for me, because I get dinged a lot and hit around quite a bit. And so it's super important to me to know that the equipment that I'm using is getting tested and is getting pushed to the limits to what's actually going to be happening in the real world and happening, live in games. And so I think it's really cool to be able to work on something that I'm going to be wearing, down the road, and am currently wearing. So I just think it's really cool, and I think it's something that's really important to catchers, and is really important to see that how much thought and time and research really goes into the equipment that we're putting on our heads.